Good morning, everybody. So for today's reading lesson, we're going to continue our talk about readers compare texts. So yesterday, we took some popular stories that we've heard about before and that we've read. We talked about Goldilocks and the Three Bears was our text A. And we talked about the Three Little Pigs, and we compared those two stories. So as we compared the two stories, we talked about the characters, okay? We talked about the setting and how they were the same. Then we talked about the problem and the solution. And then we talked about the lesson of the story, what the author teaches us as we read it. So today, boys and girls, we're going to talk about still comparing, but we're going to talk about how to write out our comparing. So we're going to talk about comparing what's the same, and then we're going to talk about contrasting, but we're going to use writing as a way to do this. Okay, so when I talk about writing, we're going to first take the first row, okay? So we're going to go across. Like yesterday, we listed everything about text A, and then we listed everything about text B. Well, when we compare in writing, we're going to look across this row. So we're going to compare the characters first. Okay, and so I have a piece of paper here that I will put this on the website, and it's just paper that we've seen before. There's room for a picture, and then there's room for our writing. Okay, so when we're comparing using writing, we can split the picture box right down the middle. So one side could have the picture of the one story we're talking about, and then the other side can have the other picture. And then our writing is going to be down at the bottom. And I'm going to show you an example of how I did this. Okay. So remember Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Of course, we had the three bears in the story. We also had Goldilocks. And then in the Three Little Pigs, we obviously have the Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad Wolf. Okay, so let me show you how I compare these and how I contrast these with my writing. So I have this. This is what an example is. So on this side, we have the Three Little Bears, we have Goldilocks, and I drew a picture, and then we have the Big Bad Wolf and the Three Little Pigs. So that's how I divided it in half, okay? So I want to compare them first. So I would say both texts have characters that are three animals. And we talked about that the other day. That's something that's the same. We have the three bears and the three pigs. So we have three animals in both of those texts. Also, I could write, they both have bad guys who try to come into their house. Remember in Goldilocks, she came right into the Three Bears' house, and of course the Big Bad Wolf wants to get into their houses. Now I put one thing at the bottom that's not the same. The Three Bears has a real human, and the Three Pigs does not. So boys and girls, see how I took the characters, I explained what was the same, and then I explained what was different. Okay, so that is one example of how I can compare these stories through writing. Okay, the next one, let's take the setting of the story. Okay, so I'm going to look right across this column. I'm comparing these two. let's take the setting. So again, I used this paper to help me with my writing and my picture. So I'm going to show you an example of that now. So again, what I did was split my picture down the side. On one side, I have the bears and their setting, and then on the other side, the three little pigs. So let's talk about how this is the same. The setting in both texts take place in the woods during the daytime. Okay, so that was something that was the same. And both texts take place in the animals' homes. All right, so, the settings, there wasn't much to contrast or tell the difference. Okay, so we just talked about how the settings from both stories were the same. And sometimes you'll find that maybe there are no differences in the setting. All right. So now what we're going to do is I want you to help me a little bit. And we're going to look down here at the problem and the solution. All right, so if we look down here at the problem and the solution, so with the Goldilocks and the three bears, remember Goldilocks, this was a problem, ate all the porridge and broke Baby Bear's chair. And when the three bears came home, what did Goldilocks do? Did you say she ran away? Yeah, she did. She ran away and she did not come back. All right, so let's go ahead and look now at the three little pigs. So what did the wolf want to do? Did you say he wanted to blow down their houses? And he did actually blow down the houses made of straw and sticks, right? But what was the solution that the three little pigs came up with? Did you say they built a house of bricks? Yeah, and he could not blow that house of bricks down. All right, so how would we write that on our piece of paper? What could we do? All right, so an example here, all right. On the one side again, we can use or show our thinking by writing a picture or drawing a picture. And then we could say in both texts, the bad guys destroy things. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. Goldilocks ate all the porridge, she broke the chair, the big bad wolf destroyed their homes. And also, what happens after that? They destroy things, and the bad guys leave and never come back, right? In both texts, Goldilocks runs away scared. You can see that in this picture. And then the wolf never comes back. The pigs are safe in their brick houses. Yep. And what about the characters? In the Three Bears, Goldilocks is scared at the end, remember, because she runs away? In the Three Pigs, the wolf is mad, maybe frustrated because he can't get those pigs. Yes, all right. Good job. And the last one, both stories have a lesson that they're trying to teach us. Sometimes stories have lessons that they want us to learn. So we can also compare those lessons. So let's look at our chart over here. Remember, we talked about maybe Goldilocks' lesson was to not go into other people's houses, maybe to stay away, mind your own business. And then the lesson that the wolf learned, he needed to kind of stay away from the pigs. Maybe he realized that he was not as smart as those three pigs. All right, so a final example here, if we're comparing the lessons through our writing. In both texts, the bad guys kind of learn to mind their own business and leave people alone. And why do you think the two stories are different? How are they different with their lesson? Do you think maybe the three bears learned to lock their door? Maybe the three pigs learned to build strong houses? That was definitely a good lesson that the three pigs learned, to build a nice strong house so they're protected. All right. So, boys and girls, your job now, and we talked about this yesterday, was to read Pete the Cat, A Pet for Pete, and Pete's Big Lunch. Okay, so your job today is to describe those in writing. Okay, and I'm going to show you this picture and I'll try to get it up on our website so maybe you can print it off. It's kind of a chart like Mrs. Holman wrote, and you have your books up at the top. And in writing, you can go ahead and describe text A, which is a Pete for pet. A pet for Pete. And then the other one, Pete's Big Lunch. And you can use this for your writing. And I'll also, when you're done, put this up so that maybe that you can do what Mrs. Holman did and split the paper in half, draw a picture for each book, and then write how the books are the same and how they're different. All right, boys and girls. I hope that you get to practice this because it's really a great tool for you to learn. And this will help you through all of your grades, all the way up until you're a senior in high school. So I hope you have a good day, and I will see you soon.